I know you know where they are, so tell me, before I do some damage you won't walk away from.
Do it right. Sometimes you do it wrong and you prove them right. But through whose eyes you was wrong when you lose a life? Sometimes you lose it all. It's like you threw the dice and realize that you was off. Listen, do it right. Sometimes you do it wrong and you prove them right. But through whose eyes you was wrong when you lose a life? Sometimes you lose it all. It's like you threw the dice and realize that you was off. Longevity in life, people. That's the goal. Stay the course. You are now tuned in to the Evolved Energy Podcast. This is where we push positivity through strength and evolution. I am your host, Twyce. Hope we're all feeling as amazing as I am today. Positivity and progression. Stagnation and negativity out the window. Today we're going to settle one of these debates that's been going on in gyms forever. And that's free weights versus machines. Which one's better? Dumbbells, barbells, or machines? And my answer is, why are we choosing? Simply because both of them can make you stronger. Both of them can build muscle and both have advantages. And when you understand what each one brings to your training, you realize that the smartest program probably has room for both machines and free weights. We're not choosing teams today, ladies and gentlemen. We're building the complete athlete. So let's get into it. First, let's define what we're talking about exactly. Free weights are things like dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, anything where you have to control the weight through space. Take a dumbbell chest press, for example. You're not just pushing the dumbbells upward, you're controlling them, balancing them, keeping them from drifting, stabilizing your shoulders, keeping your core engaged. Your body has to manage the entire movement, and that's one of the biggest advantages of free weights. See, free weights don't just ask you to move the weight, they ask you to control it. And the advantage of this, free weights demand stability. If you're doing a barbell squat, for example, your legs are working, but your core is also engaged. Your hips, they're stabilizing. And your back is also stabilizing. You're controlling your whole body underneath that load. If you're doing dumbbell presses, for example, each arm has to control its own weight. That's very important because one side can't hide behind the other quite as easily, if you understand what I'm saying. See, free weights can also allow your body to move through a more natural path depending on the exercise. A dumbbell may let your shoulder or wrist find a position that feels better than being locked into one fixed path like a machine does. Free weights can also help develop overall strength. And that's my thing. I love the overall strength. You have to stay fully engaged when you're lifting with free weights, meaning your core has to be engaged 100% to control all of that weight. Coordination, that's another thing. Balance, stabilizer muscles, core involvement involves all of that. See, body awareness is very key. And when you're lifting free weights, body awareness is number one. Because if you're weak, lifting with free weights is definitely going to expose that. And that's where you become experienced enough to know, all right, with this exercise, I'm better off using the machines rather than using the free weights because I'm weak in this area. And you can also use the machine to get stronger. And then slowly but surely, that same exercise, you then start to practice that and perform that exercise with the free weights because you're gaining strength in your weak part, which will then allow you to do it safely with the free weights and at the same time get stronger. Put it this way. Free weights teach strength and control at the same time. Now let's talk machines. And here's where some old school lifters, they get it wrong. See, they act like machines don't count, like you're somehow cheating because you're using the machine. Completely false. Resistance is resistance. Your muscle has no idea whether you're holding a dumbbell or sitting inside a machine. It understands tension, it understands workload, and it understands effort. And machines can give you some incredible advantages. See, the muscle doesn't care about gym politics, it responds to the tension. And machines provide stability for you. Remember how I said free weights require you to stabilize the weight? Machines do some of that stabilization for you. And people sometimes treat that like it's a disadvantage. But it can actually be an advantage. Because if the machine is stabilizing your body, you can then concentrate more directly on the muscle you're trying to train. Think about a chest supported row machine. Your lower back isn't working overtime trying to hold your torso in position. You're now supported by the machine. Now you can concentrate on pulling only, squeezing the back, controlling the negative, really loading that muscle so it becomes an advantage. Sometimes removing that stability, the demands allow you to put more effort into the target muscle. And that's it's hard for some people because they're not experienced and they're probably not as strong in the lower back. Since we're talking about the row right now, their lower back is probably weaker than other people. So that stabilization allows them to build the muscle more, which means less stabilization means more concentration on that muscle. So in turn, machines can be amazing for muscle growth. And if your goal is hypertrophy, building muscle, machines can be extremely valuable because once you get tired, you get fatigued, you can often keep pushing the target muscle without worrying as much about balancing the weight. Let's say I'm doing a machine chest press. I can focus fully on my chest, control the stretch, control the contraction, push close to muscular failure. And I'm not worrying about dumbbells falling to the side when fatigue hits. That's powerful when you're trying to create muscular stimulus. See, the advantages of machines, they can provide more stability, better isolation, controlled movement paths, an easier way to safely approach muscular failure. Because sometimes you want to go to failure. And it's hard when when you're working with the free weights because you get fatigued and now you have to also balance that weight. Now, when you're on the machine, you don't have to balance the weight. You can really go to failure and just worry about pushing, and then just dropping down and you're all set. It's less demand on the stabilizing muscles. You can also adjust the weight easier. And sometimes it's less stress on the areas you're trying to protect. See, machines allow you to chase muscular fatigue without always chasing instability. Machines can really be helpful when you're working around injuries as well. See, this becomes even more important when we're talking longevity. Anybody who's trained long enough knows eventually something's going to complain, whether it's your shoulder, your knee, your back, elbow, hip. And sometimes a free weight movement just doesn't agree with your body anymore. That doesn't mean the muscle can't be trained. You're not getting weaker. It means you just need to find another route. Maybe dumbbell pressing bothers your shoulder, but a certain chest press machine feels great. Maybe bent over rows bother your lower back, but a chest supported machine row lets you train your back hard without irritating it. That's not weakness. That's called intelligence, people. Longevity means finding another way to train the muscle when the old way stops serving your body. So it's just training smarter and not harder. Now, free weights build something machines can't completely replace. Let's flip that around. If you only trained on machines, you could absolutely build muscle, but you potentially miss some of the stability and coordination benefits that come from controlling free weights. When you pick up dumbbells, the machine isn't guiding them. You are. When you're standing with a weight, your body has to organize itself. Core, hips, shoulders, balance, coordination. That's a valuable form of strength we all need, especially when we're talking about being functional outside the gym. Machine strength is valuable, but learning to control your body under the load is really valuable too. So, while you shouldn't turn training into a religion, this is one of my biggest problems with fitness sometimes. People become loyal to methods instead of results. Somebody says, "Oh, real lifters only use barbells." Why is that? I haven't bench pressed in years simply because that irritated my shoulder a long time ago. So now I simply use dumbbells. Somebody else says machines are safer, so forget free weights. Why? Use the tool that accomplishes the job. Some exercise I may prefer with free weights, other exercises I may prefer on a machine. That's called training intelligently to me. Be well rounded. Do what fits your body and get you to the promised land. See, we don't get bonus points because we made the exercise harder to stabilize. That makes no sense. And we don't get bonus points because we eliminated every stabilization demand. I want you to ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish with this exercise? Don't become loyal to equipment. Become loyal to the purpose of exercise. And know that they can work together. Here's an example. Maybe you start your chest workout with a dumbbell press. You're fresh. You're controlling the weight. You're challenging your stabilizers. You're building strength. Then later, you move onto a chest press machine. Now you're more fatigued. The machine provides that stability so you can keep attacking the chest without worrying as much about balancing heavy dumbbells. Then maybe you finish with a cable or a machine fly. Now you're isolating that chest even more. Look at what happened. Free weights and machines weren't competing. They were working together. And when you use them to work together, that's when you become well-rounded and your body uses both as an advantage to get to where you need to go. Same thing with legs. Think about legs for a minute. Barbell squats, one of my favorite exercises, they can be incredible. They demand strength throughout the entire body. Legs, core, hips, back, everything has to work together. But then you move over to a leg press. Now the machine stabilizes you more. You can load the legs differently. Then maybe leg extensions. Now you can really isolate those quads. Leg curls, they target the hamstrings. That's what well-rounded training looks like. Compound free weight movement, stable machine movement, isolation work. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Different tools attacking the same goal from different directions. Complete development usually comes from more than one type of resistance. Me, I love to start off my leg workouts. Well, I do the Stairmaster for about 8 minutes just to warm up. But I start my leg workouts with squats, barbell squats. But by the end of my training session, I'm on the machines, isolating the muscle because I already fatigued my body, with the free weights. So listen, it's all a science. You have to learn this, ladies and gentlemen. That's when you're going to become complete in the gym. Machines are great for beginners too. For somebody just starting, machines can be a great introduction to resistance training because learning everything at once can be overwhelming for some people. Foot position, balance, technique, bar path, core stability, breathing, that's a lot for someone who's a virgin in the gym. A machine gives you some guidance. You can begin learning what muscular effort feels like. Build confidence, build strength, and then gradually add free weight movements when you're ready. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to crawl before you walk, and it's smarter to start that way. Start on machines so you can know how the exercise should be performed. Then you move to the free weights and you start executing it with your own body. and having your core be stabilized. Here's another important point. Your training may change as you age. Something you love doing at 25 might not be your best option at 55. That doesn't mean you're becoming weak either. It means you've become experienced. Maybe you used to use the barbell press and go heavy all the time. Now dumbbells or machines feel better. That's great. Maybe squatting still feels amazing. Keep squatting. Maybe one movement has to change. You got to change it. We're playing the long game, so you need to listen to your body. The goal isn't to prove you can train the same forever. The goal is to keep training forever. So that means you have to adjust. And like I told you earlier in this episode, I haven't bench pressed for years, but my chest is developed. Reason being, I now use dumbbells for my chest press because there's no controlled path. What was bothering me, the barbell, it's just a straight controlled path that you have to stay locked into with your joints. And that ended up irritating my shoulder. So now when I use the barbells, it adjusts to how my joints are supposed to go. If you understand what I'm saying. Now, that pain I had with the barbell because I had to stay locked into one position, that's obsolete because now my barbell press, it has adjusted to where my movement doesn't result in pain. It now flows freely, and it's a controlled and comfortable path for my joints to follow. The calm, disciplined warrior isn't worried about impressing somebody across the gym. He doesn't care whether somebody thinks machines are hardcore enough. He doesn't care whether somebody thinks dumbbells are superior. He focuses on the mission. Build strength, build muscle, protect the joints. Stay mobile, stay capable, stay in the fight. He chooses his equipment based on purpose, not ego. The disciplined lifter chooses the tool his body needs, not the tool his ego wants. Does that make sense? Well, make it make sense because it's real. For this week's challenge, I want you to look at your own training program. Are you avoiding machines because somebody told you free weights are better? Or are you avoiding free weights because machines feel easier and more comfortable? Try combining them. Choose one free weight exercise where you control the resistance and one machine exercise where you can really focus on the target muscle. Pay attention to how different they feel. Different doesn't mean better or worse. Different means another tool in your toolbox. All right? So people, fitness doesn't have to be complicated. Dumbbells work, barbells work, machines work, cables work. Your body responds to resistance, effort, progression, recovery, and consistency. Free weights can challenge your stability, coordination, and overall strength. Machines can provide stability, isolation, and an incredible environment for building the muscle. Neither one has to defeat the other. Use both. Learn your body, understand your goals, and choose the right tool for the job. Because being well-rounded isn't about proving one's training style is superior. It's about having enough knowledge to know when each one serves you best. Different tools, different advantages, same mission. Become stronger, healthier, and more capable for life. So with that being said, fuel your body, focus your mind, and evolve your life. And remember this one thing. Nothing changes if nothing changes. This is the Evolved Energy Podcast. Peace and progression, people.